If it involves serial killers, psychopaths, and unsolved true crime, count me in. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Buzz on the Case, a true crime series. This is where we are going to discuss, review, talk about, break down cases that involve African American people. That's African American women, children, men. You black, I want to know about your case. Our first case involves a 21-year-old college student. Her name was Saleha Huuda. Her parents were African immigrants. They came here from Ghana. She moved as well. She wasn't born in the States. She was born in Ghana, and her entire family moved to the States. They were strict African parents, so of course they want her to get her education, get a great job, get a good career, all of that, make some money, make the family proud. Salia was murdered by these folks. If you want to locate this interview, let me just say that, by the way. This entire interview reenactment is on Investigation Discovery. It is on Deadline Crime with Tamron Hall. It's season 6, episode 2. But anyway, they moved to Gainesville, Florida. And when Salia graduated high school in 2008, she immediately went to University of Florida in Gainesville. There, she got an apartment. She joined the cheerleading team. Things seemed to be on the up and up for Salia. December 29, 2010, she had plans to meet with her best friend, Indy. Indy never saw Salia. Salia never showed up. Salia stopped answering her phone. Salia's social media presence was slim to none, and the family is just beside themselves with worry. She made plans to meet with that best friend, and when that didn't happen, 2 days later, Salia's mom reached out to India wondering where she was because nobody was able to reach her. India didn't know where she was, and although it wasn't highly unlikely for her to not answer her phone, she sometimes would, drift off or ghost a little bit. But she and Indy had a pact that in the event that one of them decided that they were going to, go off the grid a little bit, that they would let the other know so that, mom and dad, friends, family wouldn't worry. And that didn't happen. So of course, now we're alarmed. Where is Salia? They're calling her phone, no answer. And so I believe it was a week later, after 3 days, they reported her missing. The police did a welfare check at her apartment, and nothing was out of the sorts. There was no blood evidence. There was no struggle. She was just gone. What was out of the ordinary was her dog. Her dog was still in the apartment and locked in a bathroom. And Salia loved her dog. She loved her dog. She would have never left her dog in the bathroom, locked in the bathroom for days at a time. She would have never done that. So immediately, everybody's wheels is turning and something is wrong. There is foul play. At the same time that the police are doing this welfare check, over on the other side of town, there was a fire on the side of the road, and police were investigating that. The fire was less than 2 feet off the side of the road, so it was literally on the side of the road. And when the cops went in and, put the fire out, once the fire, went down and was finally out and they were able to go in and check things out, they found a body. They noticed that the body was of an African-American female. They could tell she was African-American because this part of her nose was still intact. The rest of her face charred, but her nose was still intact. And so they concluded that that was an African-American female. And They also found a balled up paper towel on the side, like kind of off to the side in the grass. So of course they've taken everything around in that crime scene. They've taken it all, taken a picture of it and bagged it for evidence, and they were going to dust that for prints. They were able to lift a fingerprint off of the body, and they were able to ID her as Saleha Huuda. So now we found Salia's body. Now it's, okay, who did this and why? I know that she was burned, but I guess the good thing about it, she wasn't burned alive. They found that out. She was not alive when they set fire to her in her car. The sister got the call first. She got a call from her brother, and the brother, you know, let her know what had happened, and everybody needed to get to Gainesville so that we could see what is going on. Of course, the initial question is, okay, who's involved in Salia's life? Like, who's in her life? Who is she involved with? Does she have enemies? Who are her friends? Immediately, her sister mentions Antonio Drayton. Antonio was the nigga I showed y'all earlier. Antonio Drayton was her on and off again boyfriend who was very abusive. There were many times that Salia would show up with bruises, black eyes, scratches. She even once got a dislocated shoulder that she blamed on a cheerleading accident. But the family knew, her friends knew, something wasn't right about that. Not long after that, not long after that situation with her dislocated arm, she got a phone call from her sister about a dispute. She was arrested for domestic battery. Excuse me. He was arrested for domestic battery. She, after that incident, there was another incident that was worse, and she ended up calling the police, and he was arrested for domestic battery, although she never pressed charges, so that case went nowhere. Antonio didn't let the police come and find him, because once the body was found, Antonio was right in the police department giving his spiel. He volunteered the information. He volunteered his alibi. All of those things which nobody asked him about, you know, which is a red flag to me, or I'm sure it was a red flag to detectives, because we didn't call you. Like, we didn't call you. We didn't know who you were. And here you are, incriminating yourself. Yeah, you the one, but still. They didn't know that at the time. He went in to volunteer the information, and he let them know that he met Salia at a club, and she messaged him on MySpace. And the police officer asked, okay, well, were you guys exclusive? And Antonio's response was, well, she thought we were. So they were not exclusive. Antonio was dealing with other women, unbeknownst to Salia. They asked him about the domestic violence, and he admitted that he would slam her or that he pushed her. He never admitted, you know, open hand slaps or closed fist punches, or he never admitted to the horrible things that he did, but he did admit, oh, sometimes I roughed her up a little bit. I'm sure the police ain't believe that, because he made sure to say, I would never punch her. I would never hit her. Anyway, they asked flat out, did you kill Saleha Huuda? And he started to stutter. No, I did not. No, I did not. No, I did not kill Saleha Huuda. No, I did not kill Saleha Huuda. No, I did not. And, you know, that, again, red flag, this is a guilty Negro sitting in front of you. He said he was at home, and he was with Cass. Cass was the other girl she was in the picture too earlier. Cass was his girlfriend, 42-year-old girlfriend, by the way. And these folk in their 20s. But anyway, Cass is the 42-year-old girlfriend whom he says he's just smashing. She knows that she's just, you know, a cut buddy, and that the feeling is mutual. Yeah, right. Angela is another girl that he is seeing, but she, on the other hand, ain't feeling the extra women in his life. She was the first. So she would be, I guess, the bottom bitch, I guess you would want to call her, but she was the first. And she is not okay with Salia. She's not okay with Cass. She stirs trouble. Angela put out a restraining order on Salia because of an altercation that they had, a physical altercation, that is. Tamron sat down with Salia's friend, who was also friends with Angela, to get that tea. This story is both Angela and Salia, of course, were sleeping with Antonio, and it was at the same time, of course, and they got into a fight outside a club. 2 months later, Salia went to Antonio's house, and she sees that he's still dealing with the Angela girl, because when she gets there, Angela is there. And Salia's intent was to go there and make up with Antonio, but he's there with Angela. Of course, she snaps, and this is the straw that broke the camel's back, and now this is a big fight. And that was the last straw for her. And that was it. Tamron actually speaks to Angela, and she's not complicit. The police speak to Angela, and they find out, of course, that she's not complicit. She has nothing to do with it. Just an innocent bystander. They go to look at some of the gas stations around where that car was burned, and they just want to see if they can locate the car or see who was driving it or whatever. And they get to, a local gas station that has a working camera, and look at the cameras and see Salia's car. When they see her car pull into the gas station, someone gets out, a woman. The woman is seen going into the store. She has her hood over her head, covering up her face. She goes into the store. They see her buying gas for a gas tank, for a gas can, and goes out there, gets her gas, get in the car, and they drive off. Now, police want to know, was Salia in the car? Was, she in the trunk? Who is with her? Because this woman is not alone. She didn't get back into the driver's seat. She got into the passenger side. So someone is driving this car. Who is it? The detectives automatically thought that it was Angela that was driving that car. So of course they go to some of her friends. But before that, while looking for the car, and then they find it, they smell it. It's the smell of gas. It's the smell of gasoline. And they automatically know, okay, this was an intentionally set fire, and we got to figure out how these pieces match up. The police end up talking to Antonio's family, and the family automatically point out Cass in that CCTV. Y'all know what I'm saying, in the video. They automatically recognize Cass in the video. And so now we got to pick her up. Because what was you doing? Getting gas in a gas tank and driving off in this woman's car. What's that about? That piece of paper, the DNA off of that came back. And it came back positive for Antonio's DNA. So we got him. We got him at the scene of that crime where that car was burned and that dead body was found inside the car. Yeah, they got him there. He was there. He can't even say he wasn't, because that paper has his DNA on it. It was probably sweat on it. He probably wiped sweat and just threw it to the side like an idiot. Ain't no telling. They arrest both Antonio and Cassandra for Salia's murder 35 days after she was found. when they're confronted with the physical evidence, Tonio starts crying and says Cass and Salia just got into a fight, and Cass went and got, went to get, because Salia owed Antonio money as well. And supposedly Cass was sent over there to go and get the money. And when she got over there, an altercation ensued. And they got into a fight. And that's how she ended up dead. Lies. The police, of course, had already checked the records. And they showed that nobody came to Salia's apartment. So that was a lie. And he tries to change his testimony, and now he admits the murder happened, that the murder happened at his house. But he said Cass is the one that hit her over the head with a fire extinguisher, so she the one who did it. Lies again. Then of course now we got to talk to Cass. What's up, Cass? Of course, initially she protecting him. She's, not going to say that it was her. She protected him till the end. She never threw him under the bus. But he was quick to throw her under the bus. Just stupid. You a 42-year-old woman. I'm not supposed to be going on a tangent. Let me get back to the case. The truth is, she went over there and Salia was already dead when she got there. So Antonio is the one who murdered her. He forced Cass to help him, get rid of the body. And Cass said that she, prayed for her. And she ended up getting the deal, of course, because she's the one who came clean. But she said she prayed for her, before it all went down, before she helped get rid of the body. And, once she went in there and saw that Cass was dead, she got 2 years in jail time and probation. So that because she testified against him, and he accepted a plea deal to avoid a trial, and he got 45 years. It's just a tragedy all around, and more so because it didn't even have to happen. Like, it didn't have to happen. There was no reason for it. There was no justifying it. There's no justifying murder at all unless, you in a kill or be killed type of scenario. But for this, it's like, I think that things got out of control. He's abusive already. So I'm sure she went over there thinking things would be different. And his violence was lethal this time. It's really sad. It's really sad. But I'm glad that her family was able to get closure. I'm glad that this was such a speedy process for them, for her family. They were able to, get past this a lot quicker than other people. Because if you into this kind of stuff, then you know how long it can take for cases to be solved. It can take years for a case to, come to a close. So for this one to be wrapped up as quickly as it was, I'm happy that the police department did their job. They got it done. And that's all we ask for when things like this happen, especially, coming from the family standpoint. I'm sure all they want is justice. All they want is for the person who wronged their family to get what they deserve. And that's exactly what happened. Although Cass, she was an accessory after the fact and not really an accessory to murder. But ain't no way in the world you could have got me to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing 2 years, 3 years, 1 year for no man. Especially after you committed the crime. You did this and you got me coming over here to help you clean it up. No. She should have got right off the phone with him and called the police and sent the police right over there to his house. And the assist would have never had a burned up body. Her family would have been able to give her a proper burial without, they would have been able to have an open casket, a proper send off instead of what they got. But yeah, anyway, that was it for this episode of Buzz on the Case, a true crime series. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'll be back next week with another case. Feel free to send me cases if you want me to, you know, look into something and review it or talk about it. Because a lot of these cases that I come across, I mean, you know, some things aren't going to be blasted across the news, especially cases involving us, which is why I'm here. So be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Call Me Busby, and I'll chat with you later.